If you're running a music school and you've ever had that sinking feeling when you realize a potential student slipped through the cracks because your follow-up wasn't quite right, you're definitely in the right place. My name is David Nips, and over the years working with music schools across the country, I've seen the same pattern over and over again. You get a lead, someone who fills out the form on your website or from a landing page. Maybe they're interested in piano lessons for their child or guitar lessons even for themselves. And then what happens next makes or breaks whether they actually enroll. Here's what I found after working with hundreds of music schools. There are schools that have some kind of system in place, but they know it could be way better. And then there are schools where every single lead gets treated completely differently, to be quite honest. If you're not busy, maybe they hear back from you in a couple of minutes. Wonderful. But if you are busy, maybe it takes a day, maybe longer. And we all know that speed matters, but here's what most people miss. It's not just about how fast you respond. It's about the quality of those conversations and how you are representing your music school in those crucial first interactions. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through our complete lead follow-up workflow system. I'm talking about the exact text sequence, the phone call sequence, and the email automation that we use with our most successful music school clients. Plus, I'll share some mindset reframes and mistakes to avoid that could be costing you enrollments right now. By the end of this, you'll have a clear system that ensures every single lead gets the same high quality follow-up experience, whether you are swamped with lessons or having a quiet Tuesday afternoon. So let's go ahead and dive into the screen share and I'll show you exactly how this works. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the full lead flow workflow that I'm going to walk through from top to bottom. So the first action that occurs is a lead completes a form on a landing page. So this might be that they saw a Facebook or a Google ad, they went to a landing page and filled out a form with name, email, phone number, things of that nature. Potentially they fill out a form on your website or through another source. And there's three different areas that we're going to talk about that occurs next. The first on the left-hand side is an email sequence. The middle is an SMS text sequence, and on the right-hand side is a phone call sequence. And here's what I want you to think about. Number one, when you're looking at a setup like this, especially when we're going to talk about automating it, it can feel like a lot of work, like setting up these workflows, these automations. You might even need to bring on a freelancer or somebody to assist you in setting these up, and it's a lot. But here's what you need to remember. The extra work that you will put in to set this up will pay off in the long term in saved time and also increased enrollments on the leads that you're already generating. So let's say right now, when you're bringing on a new lead, it takes you 35 minutes of work because everything is manual and there's a lot of different tasks that you have to do. And let's say setting up a task like this or setting up a system like this takes you 3 hours of work, but it saves you 10 minutes every time a lead comes through. If you're getting 10 leads a month, that's 100 minutes, it's over an hour every month. A year from now, think of the payoff that you're going to have. So investing now the time and the resources to setting this up will pay off in the long term. So here's what happens. A lead comes through and 1 minute later, they get an automated text from you. Now, why we do it automated 1 minute later is because it doesn't have the feeling of fill out the form and then your phone dings. And it's just so obviously automated. By extending it out a minute, it gives that personal interaction to it. And the initial text looks like this. Hi, first name. So, hi, Samantha. This is David from Nips Music School. By introducing yourself, they're realizing that there's another person on the other end of the phone that they can have a conversation with. And this just isn't a broadcasted text that comes out to me. Now it says, thanks for reaching out about our insert whatever they opted in, about our early childhood music classes, about taking private lessons with us, whatever it might be. And then here's the kicker at the end. Always end the first text with an engaging question that's easy to answer. How old is your little one? Another question might be, is there a day and time that might work best for you to come in for your trial lesson? Or something that's really easy. How old is my little one? 3 years old. Oh, Mondays and Wednesdays work great for me. You're trying to just get them to respond, because getting that first response is always the hardest. But once you get them to respond, taking that conversation further becomes a whole lot easier. Now, here's one thing to note when you're setting up the automation flow with this. If somebody responds to that initial text, the other follow-up text that I'm going to show you, you want to automatically stop. Now, if you're looking for a CRM or a system, we offer a lead drive, which is used by music schools all over. Feel free to check out some of the links below about Nips Media. We can help you get this set up. But if you have your own automation software, whether that's ActiveCampaign or something else, what you want to do is if somebody responds to that first text, the follow-ups are automatically stopped. And here's what to remember. I don't want you to be sending this first text. There is so much affordable technology out there that can automate the text sequences here. Automate this. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Now, let's say you send that first text out 24 hours later, that person hasn't responded yet, and you haven't been able to make contact with them on the phone or in other places. This is the follow-up text that automatically goes out. Hi, first name. Hi, Samantha. Just wanted to follow up in case you missed my last message. We'd love to help you find the perfect music class for your child. How old is your little one? So you're asking the question again. 1 day later, no responses from any of these other areas. Hey, Samantha, not sure if you've heard much about our early childhood music classes yet. They're playful, engaging, and designed to support your little one's development through music, song, and connection. Of course, you're going to update the copy to match your program, what they filled out, etc. There's a difference in messaging between baby, mommy, and me classes, and of course, private lessons that you need to be considerate of. But we know at this point that they haven't responded and it's 2 days later. So that's why we're kind of reintroducing what they filled out in case they missed it or that they've forgotten. And also, we know that they weren't so open to giving us the age of their child. So maybe let's hit them with would it be helpful if we sent you over a quick overview of what a typical class looks like? And we're going to give them detailed information. Maybe that's, hey, we can send you over a brochure. Hey, maybe we can send you over some kind of PDF, whatever it might be. 48 hours later, hi, first name. So many parents tell us about music class as the best part of their week. A chance to bond, move, and connect with their little one. Of course, update this for your program. If you're still interested, I'd be happy to share which classes currently have space. And then another 3 days later, if they've gotten no responses anywhere else, we're going to send that final, hey, we're just going to give you one more shot. And then, of course, they go into your long-term leads list. Hi, first name. No worries if now's not the right time. We're always here if you have questions or want to join us down the road. Just reply anytime. I'll be happy to help. It's keeping open-ended, and this doesn't mean we're not going to follow up with them down the line. They're going to get our emails, they're going to get our text blasts, they're going to get all of that, but they're not going to be in our immediate flow anymore. These are the text sequences customized to your school that we recommend. Now, over here on the phone call side, if you're at music school, it means you probably don't have, or you might not have somebody full-time who's always, when a lead comes in, they can jump on calling. But there is a huge value to speed to lead. If they fill out your form and you're texting them in 1 minute and maybe you're calling them 45 minutes later, the chances of you enrolling that child and having an engaging conversation with that parent is much higher than if you reach out to them 6 hours later, the next day, etc., with just one touch point. So here's what we recommend. Within the first 2 hours, if they didn't get any responses to the text messages. Now, of course, if they respond and say, my little one's 4, you don't need to call them, right? Because there needs to be a connection between these points. But let's say they didn't respond to the text. Call, potentially leaving a voicemail, but hopefully getting on the phone, essentially saying, hi, Samantha, this is David from Nips Music School. Just wanted to personally welcome you and see how we can help you find the perfect music class for your little one. I also sent you a quick text in case that's easier for you to reply to. Give me a call back or try and have an engaging conversation with them. If they didn't answer, we'll call you back and there's no text messages. Call them 48 hours later. Hi, Samantha. This is David from Nips Music School again. I just wanted to check in to see if you had a chance to look at the info we sent over. We'd love to help you find the right class for your child, blah, blah, blah. You can see the rest of the script there. And then 2 days later, we have another phone call follow-up. Now, one pro tip to keep in mind is that let's say you call the person, they answer, and you have a conversation with them. So because you had that conversation, they're not going to respond to the initial text message, but you don't want to send a follow-up 24 hours later. That's going to look funny. They're going to say, well, we talked on the phone yesterday, so why are you following up with me again? That's kind of odd. So what we typically recommend is in your pipeline, if you move them to engaged lead or whatever you call that, or tagging them as engaged lead, having that so it automatically stops the text triggers. The last thing you want is to be texting somebody who you spoke to or speak to or trying to call and follow up with somebody that you've been having a text conversation with. So just be really, really mindful of that. And then over here on the left-hand side, when we talk about email, so email sequence activated as soon as the lead comes in, automate this. Email number 1 is welcome and what to expect. This is where you're introducing your music school, thanking them for their interest, and let them know, what do I have to do next? How do I schedule my trial? What does it take? What are the next things? The last thing you want to do is have your lead be confused. Email number 2 is a parent story testimonial paired with a call to action of what to do next. Email number 3 is a behind the scenes sneak peek. Give a typical introduction look into what a class looks like, highlighting the fun and learning with a call to action to book a trial or enroll. Email number 4 is an FAQ objection buster. And email number 5 is a friendly nudge and soft deadline. Emails 1 through 3, we typically recommend doing immediately, next day. Email number 4 and email number 5, you're welcome to put like a 2-day gap between those. So this sequence will go about 6 or 7 days total, lining up with the text and the calls that you have in place. Now, some of you might be watching this and you're like, I'm gung-ho, let's do this. I see the picture, let's make it happen. But I know that there might be some of you who are feeling like, that's a lot of touch points. I mean, I'm going to text them 5 times. I'm going to call them 3 times. I'm going to get all these emails. Am I being too much? And I want to direct your attention down here to some of the mindset reframes to keep in mind for you or for your staff who might be feeling this way. Number 1 is, you're here to help. You're not here to sell. Every message is just a chance to help a parent make a great choice for their child. You're a guide to music education and all of the benefits that come from that. You're not a salesperson. And number 2 is, assume they want to hear from you. Most people don't ignore you on purpose. Life gets busy. They're in the school drop-off line. Maybe they have a new baby at home. Maybe they're working a job there's a lot of things going on. Because they didn't respond doesn't mean they're not interested. It just means that it wasn't a good time to respond, and they will appreciate you following up with them to get their kids enrolled in what will be a life-transforming program. And remember, be a guide, not a salesperson. And no response doesn't mean no. It usually means not yet. Now, if somebody says, you know what, I'm not interested, or can you stop following up? Cool, we'll stop. But if we don't hear from you, we're not going to assume that's a no. We're going to assume that's, hey, not yet, but maybe when I contact you Thursday, I will be ready for that. And there's so many more mindset reframes to keep in mind when you're doing this. Lead with curiosity. Don't tie your worth to their answer. If they say yes or say no, that's okay. And sound like someone you'd want to talk to. Your tone matters. You want to make sure that when you're speaking in texting and in calling, you're speaking with warmth, calm, and confidence. People feel that. You're talking parent to parent. You're not talking teacher to parent, meaning that you're getting on their level and you're talking about the things that they care about most. And celebrate every small win. If somebody replies to a text, if you leave a voicemail that you just feel super good about, if you have a connecting call with somebody, all of this adds up, because whether or not somebody enrolls, if they have a great experience with you on the phone, who knows who they're going to be talking to where they say, hey, listen, it wasn't a good time for us to enroll in music classes, but Nips Music School, I had a great interaction with them. They seem like great people. You giving that impression is going to leave lasting benefits. And also make sure that you avoid the mistakes down here on the right-hand side. And the big one is waiting too long to follow up. Leads go cold extremely fast. If you're not responding within minutes to a few hours, they've already moved on or forgotten. And look at all of these mistakes to make sure that you're not falling into this trap. I'm going to be making full videos on these mistakes as well as the mindset reframes when it comes to following up with leads inside of your music school. So if you're interested in more content like that, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm also going to be sharing a PDF that you can get access to with this full workflow here that you can download. So check the description there. And if you're looking for a team that can help you automate this workflow, can help you insert these scripts into your school, and can train you on the softwares and systems to bring this to life, check out Nips Media below. That's what we're doing every single day, and we would love to support you. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.